Hello, so with the entire crypto sector crashing, I thought I should give you some thoughts on Bitcoin today. Needless to say, it's not pretty at all. Faith in crypto has been battered, in most cases quite rightly. This time last year, Bitcoin went on one of its monster runs above $60,000. It then had one of its monster crashes. I can't remember if it was in Money Week or on Twitter or on here, but somewhere I suggested that a reasonable target for the correction might be $20,000. $20,000 was the old high from 2017, the 2017 boom and bust, and an obvious price point. But the correction stopped at $30,000 or just below. And the conclusion I drew, and on current evidence wrongly drew, was that as Bitcoin matured, its volatility was declining. The 90% corrections of previous bull markets were now 50 or 60% corrections. Bitcoin then had a second run above $60,000 in the autumn, followed by another of its humongous corrections, and lo and behold, $30,000 held. Again, actually just below, but I use round numbers as they're more readable. As an asset, Bitcoin's become highly correlated to the Nasdaq and tech stocks, and as we all know, tech stocks have been walloped. Peloton, for example, which I talked about, I should say, the other day, is down over 90%. So, over the past fortnight, I was quite encouraged to see Bitcoin holding up well relative to other tech stocks. $30,000 looked like it was a floor. Then we got the collapse in the protocol Terra and its so-called stablecoin UST, and the sector has been absolutely battered. It's big. It's going to take some recovering from. The bubble of 2016 was verging on the fraudulent ICOs. Today it's staking and stable coins. The yields on staking, over 20% in some cases, are unsustainable, and so they have not been sustained. If you're baffled as to what I'm talking about, do not worry. You haven't missed out. And at this stage, it's very much for the best. But hundreds of thousands of people have lost money, in some cases fortunes. They're all their fortune. And as someone who's lost big money in the past, I offer my deepest sympathy. I really do. You start blaming yourself for your greed, for your stupidity. You feel huge shame. Worse, you start thinking you've betrayed your family. You think you'll never get your life back, and you sink into a horrible depression. In some cases, people will feel suicidal. I've been there, not the suicide bit, but I have been there, and it is not nice. Yes, you might have made a poor judgment, and it has cost you, but you haven't betrayed your family. You were only trying to better your lot and thereby make all of your lives better. There is nothing wrong with that. In any case, the reputational damage of this episode to crypto is considerable. All those who declared that crypto is a fraud are now looking wise, while those, myself to an extent, included, who made the argument that Bitcoin is a hedge against currency debasement, are looking stupid given that it's off 65% or whatever off its highs. Bitcoin will survive again. It will thrive again. Doesn't mean it can't go lower. Of course, Bitcoin and crypto are not one and the same. Bitcoin remains a product of technical and open source genius, but forever in its wake and surrounding it are disasters, gaffes, frauds and scams. Altcoins, NFTs, the metaverse, DeFi, staking, whatever the latest buzz thing is, all of it is puking, has puked value, and the bubble has well and truly burst. Again. And there lies the key word. Again. This is not the first time it's happened. It will not be the last. And for all the junk that surrounds it, Bitcoin keeps on keeping on. The sector has lost some 1.7 trillion in value. That's a number similar to the subprime losses that triggered the global financial crisis. But in crypto, there are no bailouts. It's probably one of the last markets left that is truly free. As I write, as I speak, it sits at $28,000. I would have thought we'll see a retest of 20,000. All the better if not. And oddly, this episode might prove good for Bitcoin in that it will produce a lot more Bitcoin maximalists and hodlers. I hope $20,000 holds if we even test there, but these are horrible, horrible, horrible markets. And I'm not just talking about crypto. It was oil going bananas in 2008, rising to $150 a barrel, which triggered that collapse. It seems like something not too dissimilar is happening now, following oil's spike to $130 a month or two ago. There's going to be a lot of forced sellers out there, leverage players across the board. So, we're going to see a lot of liquidation. My advice, if you own quality assets and you don't have to sell, is not to. Gold, Bitcoin, good companies, whatever. Their price may go lower, but if you're not confident you can beat the market, then don't sell. Because just as bubbles always burst, so does quality always come good. And Bitcoin itself, and I'm not talking about other crypto, Bitcoin itself is a quality asset. The single most resilient information technology system in the world, backed by the most powerful computer network ever created. There's even a chance it could go back to its corona panic lows of March 2020. Heck, everything else seems to be going that way. That would take us to $3,000. I would have thought that is extremely unlikely, but never say never, especially in these markets. There's also a chance it goes up. If you think you can beat the market, as I say, go for it. If you have a great trend-following system, great. If not, hodl quality, don't trade it. Remember my 4 phases of a Bitcoin cycle. 1, there's the quiet accumulation. Few outside of the bubble of ardent Bitcoiners take notice as it discreetly creeps up. 2, there's the frenzy and the blow off top. The price rises, accelerate, there's a rush to buy. The media's all over it. I get everyone on social media's crowing. There's a huge row about whether Bitcoin is in a bubble or not. I get invited onto the BBC to talk about it. You get a phone call from your mate's nan asking how to buy it, and Dean from up the flats starts holding court in the CAF about irresponsible monetary policy at the Federal Reserve. Bitcoin then has one of its blow-off tops. See 2013, 2016, 2021 for more details. And that's stage 2. Stage 3, the monster correction. Bitcoin loses over 50% of its value. Economists who missed the boat go on telly and declare they were right, ignoring the fact that the price to which Bitcoin corrected to is several 100% above where the quiet accumulation phase began. Earlier in Bitcoin's evolution, these corrections could be 90% or more. Now, it would seem 65. They've scaled back to more like 65%, or have they? And finally, 4, there's the frustrating consolidation. Bitcoin goes into a period of range trading, consolidating the gains of previous bull markets. This is a period of relative quiet, at least by Bitcoin standards. There are rallies that get many excited, but they prove to be false dawns. Investors get frustrated by the grinding action. The media loses interest. Many forget about it. And so we gradually drift into phase 1 again, another quiet accumulation phase. I thought we were in phase 4. Turns out we're back in phase 3, the monster correction. Phases 4 and 1 are the times to buy, unless you want to try and catch falling knives. Excuse my hiccups. And if you want to take the plunge and buy Bitcoin, take a look at my guide. I'll link to it somewhere in the pages. Please follow me on Twitter, subscribe to this channel, and above all, check out my Substack channel, which is going great guns. As I say, I'll put a link somewhere in the what's it.